Hi, welcome. It's been a while. I don't know what happened. Genuinely, I don't know what to tell you. I kind of just fucking died. Anyways, I'm back. And I'm here to talk about FNAF again. Because, why not? So, a lot has happened with FNAF since the last time I talked about it. Last time I talked about it was after the movie release in 2023. It's fucking 2025. I also didn't even get a chance to talk about Ruin at all in my first FNAF video. There's been a lot happening because 2024 was a 10-year anniversary of FNAF, which Jesus fucking Christ. So let's go ahead and take a stroll. Not necessarily down memory lane, but adjacent to memory lane. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go through every game in the order that they released because that makes sense. I might include some other stuff that happened with FNAF, but I'll get to it when I get to it. For now, let's start with... Oh my god, guys. Ruin was so goddamn good. I actually did not... Oh my god, guys. Ruin was actually so goddamn good. What the hell? I was not expecting to like this almost at all, so I had very little expectations. Maybe that's why I like it so much, but genuinely, it is actually really good because I wasn't the biggest fan of Security Breach. I'm sorry, not that I played it. Just to let you guys know, I haven't played any of the games that I'm talking about today. I don't have Security Breach. I don't have the system to be able to play Security Breach. What am I gonna do? Download it on my Nintendo Switch? No one wants that. Purely from a storytelling standpoint, I did not like Security Breach, and to be honest, that's not even fully Steel Wool's fault, because Scott just didn't fucking tell them anything about what the story was. What was wrong with him? That's neither here nor there. The point is that Ruin is actually really good. Clears up a lot of stuff that Security Breach had within it, like all the separate endings of Security Breach. There were so goddamn many. All of them, besides one, are now just comics that Gregory drew. So the actual canon ending of Security Breach is the Princess Quest ending, which is great because that's the one that makes the most sense. The Burn Trap ending, I don't know what the Burn Trap ending is supposed to mean nowadays, especially because of, yep, the gosh darn mimic who comes from the books. Have I read them? No, but I'm very aware of what the books are and that the mimic is in them because I watch Game Theory and also FNAF. I'll get to my thoughts on the mimic in a little bit, but for now, I actually really want to focus on Cassie. I love Cassie. She's such a cutie, guys. The newer protagonists have just been a delight because you actually get to hear their voice and you get to know more about them. Look, I love Michael. I love the journey that he goes on, but all of that is kind of just behind the scenes, if you know what I mean. You don't know a whole lot about the guy, but here we actually get to know a whole lot about Gregory and Cassie. Maybe not as much Gregory actually, but definitely Cassie. I think it's so interesting that Steel Wool decided to take the time to really establish Cassie as a character by adding in little details now and then. One of the first things that happens in the game is Cassie comes across Glamrock Chica, and once Glamrock Chica breaks down, she asks her,
Chica? What happened to you? You look awful.
And she sounds so sad when saying that because she genuinely loves these animatronics. Meanwhile, Gregory over here is fucking just killing them for fun, I guess. Why not? But no, Cassie genuinely cares, and she has such an affinity for all of them, but especially Roxy. The way that she loves Roxy so much. I could talk about Cassie and Roxy for 5 hours, but I won't because we have other stuff to talk about today. But just, oh my gosh, the fact that Roxy was the only other one besides Gregory at her birthday party is so sweet. I mean, I know she kind of had to be there, I guess, but still, oh my god, the way that Roxy softens up when she figures out that it's Cassie she's been chasing the whole time, not Gregory, because she still believes that Gregory is there. She can't see, so she just assumes he's there. He hasn't been there for who knows how long, months, a year. I don't know how long it's been. Girl, you really think he's still there? Whatever. Anyways, the point is she does think that, but once she finds out that it was Cassie and not Gregory, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Error. And I'm like, oh, damn. And of course, the end part with her, we're gonna get there. But the fact that also you can go out and find Glamrock Chica's voice box and put it back in Chica, and it doesn't really do anything, but it just kind of is there. I think that's actually such an important moment. This is something that they talk about in the Steel Wool interview that John FNAF did. By the way, this is just a side note, but I really like how everyone calls him John FNAF as if that's his last name. It's like when people say Sans Undertale, you know what I mean? Anyway, in the Steel Wool interview, they say that they put that moment of retrieving the voice box and putting it back in Chica, not for any lore purposes, but just to flesh out Cassie as a character. And I think that's really important. I think they're trying to put more emphasis on characters now, because that is just as important as the lore sometimes. Just being able to see that Cassie would go out of her way to, one, find this voice box, but then two, also go out of her way again to install it back into Chica. And also when she does it, she's like, oh my god, this is so gross, but she still does it anyway. And like, that's such a cool thing to input. Also, loves getting to see Glamrock Bonnie. What the hell happened to him though? Like, he's just dead on the floor. And also, he's connected somehow to the f***ing Pat. What the f*** is going on there? Like, what? Why? But also, Glamrock Bonnie and Freddy gay? Kind of a big win. Okay, now it's actually time to talk about the ending portion of the game. We need to talk about what happens with Cassie and Roxy first. Because Roxy gets trapped under that thing, I don't remember what it is. And when Cassie goes up to her, Roxy is so sweet and nice. She's like,
it has been some time since I saw you last. If I remember correctly, it is on the 11th. I remember because you are number 1. Twice.
Oh my god!
Have you booked your party? I'm sure your friends will show up this time.
oh my god, it's so cute. And the fact that Cassie has to f***ing kill Roxy because she's the last node for some reason, that is so sad. Like, the entire game, you're like disassembling and doing those little like puzzles to deactivate the nodes or whatever, right? And they get harder as the game goes on, but the Roxy one is literally the easiest one in the game, which also makes it the hardest one in the entire game because of what Roxy is saying to you. And also beforehand you would see the cardboard cutouts of Roxy and Cassie hanging out. Clearly they have this history together. Cassie loves Roxy. She's her favorite animatronic, and Roxy has a special place in her heart for Cassie as well. So for Cassie to have to do that to her, I just think that's such a goddamn brilliant moment. Like, holy shit. And then like the entire elevator ride down, Cassie is just crying. And then yeah, you get down there and oh shit, it's the f***ing Mimic.
Bro, what the?
Yep, the Mimic has been mimicking all over the place. It was actually mimicking good old Gregory. I guess Gregory and Vanessa came down there like beneath the Pizzaplex at some point to further help trap the Mimic down there. And the Mimic mimicked Gregory and lured Cassie down there to set it free. So now it's free. Hooray? I don't know. First of all, there's like 3 endings to Ruin. We'll get to the canon ending in a little bit. Let's talk about the Brazil ending. I don't actually remember why it's called that, by the way. Does anyone know? I think it's like a reference to some movie, but I don't know what movie it's referencing. You put on the Vanny mask, which you've been doing the whole game, and you go to the Freddy, whatever, cutout, and you're in Fantasyland. I guess it's just a Mimic showing Cassie what she wants to see, or it's like, these are the things that the Mimic has access to, because you see Gregory, and it's clearly, obviously, been mimicking Gregory this entire time, and also Helpy is there, and it's been using Helpy to sort of act as like its mascot. Not its mascot, I don't know how to say it. Like, I wouldn't say it's mimicking Helpy, it's just using it as like its mask more so to again help further lure Cassie down to where it is. I don't know, it's confusing, it's weird, I don't fully understand it. Also, why is Vanessa off to the side? Is it because the Mimic no longer has any hold or control over Vanessa? Because the Mimic is tied to Glitch Trap, which is something that is a whole nother can of worms I don't know, that one's still weird to me. Anyway, the other ending, the scooper ending, the mimic is in its costumes because that's a thing it does, I guess, in the books or whatever. And then you just go into the scooper room and it gets scooped. First of all, why is that there? Why is there a scooper here? Like, this is the... okay, so... the Pizzaplex is on top of the FNAF 6 pizzeria, which is on top of, like, just a whole of other shit, I guess. So, like, where is the scooper room coming from? There wasn't one in FNAF 6, I don't think. Not that we knew of anyway, right? So it's like, did they build this at some point after? Why? Why is it there? I'm just like, what does that even mean? I don't understand its purpose. Whatever, we're not really here to talk about it. That's whatever, I don't care. Let's talk about the actual main ending, which is you escape the mimic, you're on an elevator back up to the surface world or whatever, and Gregory's like, hey bestie, that wasn't actually me talking to you the entire time. Like, yeah, no shit, I think I figured that out once I saw a giant ass robot there. And then he's like, I know that you went out of your way to come find me and whatever, and I appreciate that, but kind of can't be followed by the mimic, so see ya. And he drops the elevator, and Cassie just falls basically to her death. I mean, I assume she lives, but like, what the f***? We haven't heard anything about Cassie since then. It's been over a year. Like, hello? Did we just forget about her? I'm just hoping to the gods above that it wasn't actually Gregory that said that, and it was the mimic just mimicking all over the place again. Anyways, Ruin is a 10 out of 10. Not for any of the reasons I mentioned, but purely because it's responsible for giving us this entire scene right here.
Hey, let's stop talking over each other. Let's look at the wounds. Look at the wounds. Zoom in on the stomach.
It's bullcrap. Don't believe it. That's Scott's lies.
Look at the wounds.
That's my theory. My theory is the valid theory. Matt Pat can suck an egg. He doesn't know.
Help Wanted 2. Oh my god, I've never felt so left out of a game experience ever. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot to say about Help Wanted 2, other than I think it was really f***ing good. There was so much stuff within it. I'm not gonna go over all the mini games, but I just love how kind of like crystal clear this one is. Like, this is about as crystal clear as you get in FNAF, really. You figure out who you're playing as pretty easily. It's like almost like entirely spelled out for you. They give you the Faz wrench and it's like, hey, this is the key. This should be familiar to you. They also establish pretty early on that you're an adult from the way that Freddy talks to you, and also from Carney saying, hey, you look like you've got kids. So pretty establishing, what? So pretty easy to figure out we're an adult, we probably have kids, we have a Faz wrench, we're Cassie's dad. Yeah, I didn't mention it in the Ruin section, but Cassie's dad, it's a thing that like is brought up once or twice maybe. I think there's like some other stuff in the inventory notes in Ruin, but we don't know what happened to him in Ruin, but then we find out pretty easily in Help Wanted 2. So yeah, by playing as Cassie's dad, we do a lot of stuff, we fix some we do some other stuff, and we also figure out that our entire reality is a lie. Hooray. Okay, but for real, the twist that you were wearing the Vanny mask the entire time, that happens like maybe halfway through the game or so, that was so f***ing cool. I was genuinely so unbelievably shocked. I was like, there's no f***ing way that we've been wearing this entire time, that this is how it actually looks. It was so cool. They did a great job on that.
Get out of here! No! Oh, that's awesome!
The main endings of this one too are super duper interesting because it just like really goes to show how like I guess Cassie's dad was way more involved than we thought he was in a lot of things. First off, the first ending is like when you complete every single mini game, which by the way, can we talk about the like Fazbear Transformers? Those look really cool actually. I kind of want one. But anyways, so by collecting all the Faz Transformers, whatever, and completing all the mini games, you unlock the first kind of main ending where burn trap, I guess, starts coming out, and then you get killed by all the robots, and you're put into Maskbot, and Maskbot was in Ruin, and Maskbot is also the one that gives Cassie the Vanny mask, which is just so tragic. You're basically being forced to watch, like, your daughter being given this horrible, like, tool that is potentially going to corrupt her and is eventually going to send her to her doom, basically, as we see in Ruin. And the other ending, oh my god, that ending looks so goddamn cool. The Princess Quest ending, holy shit. Again, I've never felt so left out. That looks like so much fun. Also gave us this moment.
Who's the princess now, bitch?
So, I mean, do I even really need to elaborate? Also, there's the Nightmarion plush. John FNAF was freaking the f*** out. That was so funny, actually.
Shut up! No! No! Please! What are you doing? What are you doing here?
But at the end, when you're in the arcade machine, that is such a cool visual, by the way. You're watching the destruction and the death, I guess, more or less, of Glitch Trap. So Glitch Trap itself is gone. It's dead. It's over. I mean, the Mimic is still around, but it's like the actual Glitch Trap program, if it's a program or whatever, the virus, whatever, it's gone, it's dead. Vanny defeats it with the help of Cassie's dad, which is super duper interesting because from what I can assume, I don't think Vanessa or Gregory or whoever knew that of this guy's importance. They didn't know the role he was playing. Vanessa probably just was able to vanquish Glitch Trap without being able to fully thank the guy or even know that he was there at all. And then I guess Cassie's dad is just trapped in digital purgatory forever. So is he just like replacing Vanny? Like as in like taking Vanessa's place in the digital space? Because Vanessa's mind was basically set free when Gregory like completed all the 3 Princess Quest games. And by completing the 4th, you're able to like finish Glitch Trap once and for all. You're also put into Princess Quest itself. Like literally. So I guess you're just trapped there the same way that Vanessa was trapped there, which is really sad. Poor Cassie. Like she got the short end of the stick. Her dad disappears. Her friend also supposedly disappears and then also betrays her at the very end. What the We also get to find out that Cassie's dad is the Bonnie bro from FNAF 4. What? That's actually really cool. I think that's a really fun and clever way to have reference to the past games while still continuing the future of the franchise. You wouldn't think that they would include a fucking like very, very minor character that shows up in one scene or two from a game that came out almost 10 whole years ago. Like, really, this guy? We're gonna include a whole thing about this guy. We're gonna make this guy a main character for a whole game and also make his daughter someone very important, apparently, to the lore or whatever. This guy and his bloodline are important now. Who thinks of this? I mean, it's cool that they would do that, but also just like, who thinks of that? Anyways, yeah, Help 1, 2, really cool. Let's move on. So, I'm not entirely sure if this is like a mainline game. Like, it's not actually like a mainline game, but it's still a main FNAF game. So I just don't know how to treat this one in terms of the lore. It's confusing, guys. I don't know what's happening anymore. Either way, Into the Pit was really fun and cool. I liked it a lot. Again, I didn't play it. Maybe I actually will play this one though, because it is available on Switch. I kind of just forgot that it was available on Switch until right now, but now that I remembered, maybe I'll play it. Anyway, this is the first entry from Mega Cat Studios, and it was a really good one, guys. Great job. I'm actually really excited to see the other ones that they do. I know they have plans for more games based on the FNAF books. And as someone that has never read any of the books, I'm actually pretty excited because Into the Pit was really good. From what I'm aware, they did make some changes to the story, obviously, because, I mean, they're not going to be able to do a one-for-one, like from a book to a game sort of thing, you know? It just looks like a really fun time. I know it's kind of like a clock tower type of game, which I didn't even know what clock tower was. Again, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this one, but it is really interesting to kind of take a look at what the memory of the missing kids incident looked like from the point of view of the kids that were murdered. I think that's what happens into the pit. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know anything about the books. From what I understand, the Spring Bonnie pit monster, I know it's not actually William. It's like a monster created from agony, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. And Oswald, the main character, isn't actually going to the past. It's not an actual time-traveling ball pit. It's just the lingering memories of that day and maybe of that week or whatever that has created this agony-filled thing. Again, I could be wrong. Please correct me if I am. Either way, it looks like it was really cool. I liked all the character interactions. I thought it was really funny in a good way. I think the characters have some really good, fun dialogue. It's just a different experience than previous FNAF games, which I'm excited about, because it's just cool that FNAF gets to have so many different types of games and mediums now. Again, I do kind of wonder what this means for the lore. I don't know if this means that this is like a whole nother new timeline, if this game is canon to the other mainline FNAF games. I'm not too sure what this means. But either way, I'm excited for more. I like the little mini games that they had. I thought it was so funny that they had the Buff Helpy mini game. Jesus Christ, Dawko's reaction to that is priceless.
Heft him with the helpals! No. 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 Bob, help it!
So, if you can believe it, Secret of the Mimic actually released while I was editing this video. Because, of course, it did. If I had a nickel for every time this, whatever, you know the drill. So, since this game is so new, I just don't have a whole lot to say about it. I want to make this clear, I do think it's good, okay? Which is why I'm gonna say also that for me personally, I don't fully 100% love it. I haven't fully finished Mark's playthrough on the series just yet, but from the clips I saw on Twitter about him talking about his overall thoughts of the game after he finished playing it, his sentiments sort of echo my own. I just feel like, I don't know, there's a disconnect for me personally between this game and the rest of the series. And that's not to say anything about this game in particular. I think it's a really well-made game. It has great visuals. It has a really great story. It has great characters. I think Edwin Murray and his wife Fiona are really great characters that are fully realized. I just feel like they kind of come out of nowhere. And I know that they're in the books, but within the games themselves, we have never heard of these guys before. The closest we come is the add-on that they did for Help Wanted 2 in anticipation for Secret of the Mimic, but that was still like barely anything. And look, I'm not one of those people that believes that FNAF can only and should only be what it was when Scott was making the games by himself. As in, I don't believe that FNAF should be stuck in the same sort of gameplay that it was from FNAF's 1 through Ultimate Custom Night, right? FNAF has changed and evolved. It no longer really has that five-night structure outside of Into the Pit, and it also is not just sit and survive and look at the cameras and look at the blob, because honestly, after having that gameplay for about like 5 years or whatever it was, it gets a little stale, it gets a little boring. You do need to shake things up. And as I've talked about in this video, I like the direction that they're going. I do really like Ruin. I talked about how much I liked Help Wanted 2. I even like Into the Pit. And all of these are very different types of games, gameplay wise, and also they tell their stories in different ways than the first 6 to 7 FNAF games did, you know? I am totally okay with FNAF doing different things. I think it's good that it does different things. There just is something missing personally for me from Secret of the Mimic, and it's something that I can't even fully put my finger on. It feels just more like its own thing that has, obviously it has a lot of connections to the rest of the series and to Freddy's in general. There's mentions of Henry and William. There's a whole fucking like prototype Freddy's underground. So obviously like it's not like this is just a completely unrelated side quest or whatever, but there's just like I don't even know what it is. It just is something that I can't put into words. I mean, this game's still pretty new. I've really only seen like 1 to 2-ish playthroughs, Dawko's and FuhNaff, so I just might need more time with it. And honestly, like, it just might be my own fault because, to be completely honest, I feel like my brain's probably still stuck in Deltarune land. In case you're not really a Deltarune or Undertale fan and aren't aware, Deltarune chapters 3 and 4, it released about a week or so before Secret of the Mimic did. And I thought that would be really cool for my brain. I would go literally from one hyperfixation to the next, but instead it turns out it's really bad because I still wanted to focus on Undertale and Deltarune type stuff, but like my YouTube stuff was already moving on to FNAF Secret of the Mimic, and I wasn't ready to move on yet because it was 2 full chapters worth of new content. And I was like, well, hold on, I'm still processing all of this. Before I like fully end this video, I do want to talk about one thing in particular, just because I want to draw more attention to it. So for FNAF Help 1 and 2, they did a add-on that helped to tease Secret of the Mimic. And in this teaser add-on, they had this puzzle and it showed you 2 different images. One being the exterior for Murray's costume manor. And they also had the actual like exterior of Murray's costume manor. They also had a little mailbox outside the exterior that had the numbers 4625. And these numbers, like, initially people thought it would be the release date of Secret of the Mimic, 4625 being April 6, 2025. Obviously, this is not the case. The game ended up releasing June 13th instead of April 6th. Now, April 6th is still a very important date because, as we all know, April 6th is the release date of the very first Stand a Waterman video that Markiplier released to his YouTube channel. Of course, the original live stream that the video comes from didn't take place on April 6th. It actually took place on sorry, got off topic there. Anyways, so 4625 actually is still kind of an important number because it comes up at least 2 other times in Secret of the Mimic from what I remember currently. I believe Dolly says it at least once, which is really interesting. Like, why is this number supposedly important? As far as I can remember right now, there was something within the game itself that actually hinted as to why this number might be important. So it might be that it's something that Steelwool will come back to at a later point. Maybe this is something that they'll follow up on in a potential game about the Fall Fest itself. Who's to say? There is more stuff I want to talk about with Secret of the Mimic, but it's gonna have to wait for another time. This video is long enough as it is. There's a lot that happened this past year because it was like FNAF's big birthday 10-year blowout, whatever the so there's a lot of ground to cover, but I think that's gonna do it for me. I'm super duper excited about the future of this franchise. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am because the train, it ain't ever stopping. Hello, welcome to the end of the video. Congrats, you made it. It has actually been like a full ass year since I did a video. Oops, I guess. Last year sucked ass. That's basically all I'm gonna say. Hopefully, I will have more videos this year instead of just one like last year. Anyways, thanks for watching. Okay, bye.